Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My son and daughter-in-law parent drunk.
They are severe alcoholics.
They drive intoxicated. She's urinated on herself in front of the daughter.
We are great parents.
Freaking awesome parents.
You found a potty chair that hadn't been emptied. It was moldy.
I don't recall that.
Of course you don't. You weren't there. You were drunk.
And their binging is getting worse.
She is with your parents. What's more important than calling your daughter?
Drinking.
Not only do they have the right to take your child, they have the responsibility to take your child. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, Jessica and her husband, Chris, admit they're severe alcoholics. In fact, their drinking is so bad that when we arrived to film with them at their home last week, Chris was just passed out. But despite admitting being drunk every single day, they insist that they are great parents, not good parents, great parents, and claim they have gone out of their way to shield their 6-year-old daughter from their drinking. Now, Chris's parents, Renee and Lee, completely disagree. So much so, they actually forced Chris and Jessica to hand over guardianship of their 6-year-old to protect her from her own parents. Take a look.
My granddaughter is not safe with my son and daughter-in-law because they parent drunk. Chris and Jessica are always claiming that they're the best parents. They are so not.
Oh my God, stop!
Because we were very concerned for our granddaughter, we had Chris and Jessica move into our house. Later on, they moved out. Thankfully, we had our granddaughter stay with us. So this is our granddaughter's new room in our new house. She's very, very happy with this room. When they left their apartment, the conditions in there were terrible. My granddaughter's potty training chair was completely full and moldy.
We actually found piles of old diapers that hadn't been cleaned out in months. The conditions were disgusting.
Chris and Jessica are verbally aggressive towards each other in front of their daughter.
There have been many instances when I could hear them yelling and screaming at each other in the middle of the night.
What?
I would find my granddaughter in the next room cowering in the corner and crying.
Chris and Jessica are reckless. There have been many times that Chris and Jessica have been passed out, and our granddaughter is on her own.
There were many occasions where my granddaughter came into our bedroom looking for food because Chris and Jessica were passed out.
When Chris and Jessica take our granddaughter out, they go to places where they drink. They come back, they're staggering, and she's in the car with them. Chris and Jessica don't think about the consequences of anything, and it scares the daylights out of me. The path that they're on right now, they're gonna die. They're not gonna live.
Okay, these grandparents say the final straw was a dangerous incident that happened this past Easter. An incident they say their granddaughter calls the worst day of her life.
This past Easter was one of the most dangerous situations that Chris and Jessica ever put our granddaughter in. Chris and Jessica had been on a 3-day drinking binge.
Chris and Jessica took my granddaughter to an Easter egg hunt. They were too drunk to be there.
They went to line up to go into the Easter egg hunt, and Jessica started screaming and yelling at Christopher that it was all his fault. You should have taken me to the bathroom.
Jessica urinated on herself because she was so drunk she couldn't make it to the bathroom. After the Easter egg hunt, they decided this was probably a good time to go to the movies. When they got to the theater, Chris and Jessica were turned away because they were too drunk.
Other people there saw that they were leaving with our granddaughter. And when Chris and Jessica got into the car with our granddaughter, they blocked them in so they could not leave, and they called the police. He was being belligerent, so they arrested him for drunk in public. All of this happened before noon on Easter Sunday. That night, Chris said she had a good day because she had her Easter egg hunt and she got her basket. To this day, our granddaughter says it's the worst day of her entire life. It's horrible.
Okay. First off, God bless the two of you for stepping up and stepping in here and removing this child from harm's way. And you have no doubt that that child has been put in a car with these two falling down, staggering, drunk.
No doubt.
And driven around.
Yes.
You actually built an apartment for them to move onto your property.
We did. Actually, when our granddaughter was born, they moved in with us, and shortly after that, we started building the apartment.
Now, this apartment that you built, what kind of shape was it in when you decided to move them into the house?
Oh, it was horrible. It was...
Define horrible.
It was dirty, and I mean, we're not going to judge people on how they keep their house. And I hadn't seen her bedroom at that point, the way that we saw it. I didn't see that until I actually packed it up. But
what did you find when you packed it up?
I found the little porta toilet that was full.
Soiled diapers.
Yeah, diapers and pull-ups.
When you say the little, it's a potty chair, right?
It's one of those little potty training chairs.
And what did you find? What was the condition?
I found it completely full. I mean, like where it was hard to walk it out without it spilling, completely full and moldy. But it had been several weeks since they had moved out, so I'm sure that might be why it was moldy, but there's no way that she did that in one night.
The fact of the matter is you found a potty chair that hadn't been emptied to the point that it was moldy and crusty and dirty diapers littering the floor all around, which is unsanitary, and you had a child living in that condition.
Absolutely,
and there's no theory
yes.
under which that's okay. There's no theory under which this is, oh, we just forgot to pick up today around here.
And that's why we're here, because we've come to that realization how bad it really is, and we just want to address.
But do you hear what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, she's still kind of trying to say, this is horrible, sort of. I mean, you can't excuse it and condemn it at the same time. You've either got to say, this is absolutely disgusting, or it's not, because you're coming up to a choice point here about what happens with this child.
Right.
We've actually made that choice.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out what we can do.
Why did y'all wait so long?
We really didn't wait.
How did they have this child to go to Easter drunk? Why were they able to drive drunk with her even one time? There were adults that knew what was going on here.
Right.
Why was this allowed to happen even one day?
It's, you know, when they would leave the house, they would not be drunk. They would come back that way. And that's when we finally stepped in.
I'm looking for clarity here because I want to affect change, and I know what it takes. We pulled a couple of excerpts from the letter you wrote after Easter.
Okay.
Dear Dr. Phil, tonight's the night that we're going to talk to Chris about our plan to take temporary custody of our 6-year-old. I don't use her name because I don't like to use children's names.
Right.
Chris and Jessica proved this past weekend that they really have no intention of quitting alcohol at this time. You're saying that like this was a revelation at Easter, that, okay, I'm accepting that they're not ready to quit at this time.
Right.
We should have called CPS long before this, and we didn't. We were trying to protect our kid and not make things worse, but that didn't help, obviously.
Right. They did come home drunk with her several times, and those last 2 incidents were just when we finally did take custody of her, and it was at that time.
Several times?
And I was
Listen,
sick
I have
over
2
it.
grandchildren.
Right.
And they're at about this age. And if somebody, babysitter, family member, whatever, brought one of them home drunk,
Oh my God, I know.
they not ever again in the history of the globe would they ever have their hands on that child again another time ever.
Right.
Yeah, we
And you said they
absolutely
came home
understand
several
her.
times with her drunk. I mean, this is one trial learning, guys.
Yes.
Right.
Jessica and Chris insist that these two had no right to steal their daughter from them. And they say they want her back right now. We'll be right back.
Chris and Jessica constantly drive drunk, and they don't think anything of it.
Every time he's out driving, I'm terrified that he's going to hurt someone. The attitude I get from him is nothing has ever happened, so what's the big deal? Because of Christopher's drinking, he's been arrested twice and he's totaled 2 cars.
Here is an incident report that the sheriff gave from the pre-Christmas Eve crashing of their car.
Chris and Jessica were coming back from Christmas shopping. Chris lost control of the car and totaled the car.
They were very close to going off of a bridge where they would have gone into a lake 60 feet below. I thought that these accidents would have been a wake-up call, but obviously it's not.
You said they frequently drive drunk. Why is that okay?
It's not okay.
But it was then, right?
No, it wasn't.
Well, why did you allow it? I mean, total strangers stopped them and y'all didn't?
No, they would leave sober and come back drunk.
But many times, and we should have put us into it a long time ago.
Yeah, months before.
Well, we've got to up our game here. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Right.
Parents don't let kids drive drunk. You do whatever you have to do. And I'm saying that not just to criticize you're being slow to take up the mantle in the past. I'm talking about, I'm trying to say, what we got to do going forward.
Right.
Chris and Jessica insist their daughter doesn't need protection from them. So why then, when we showed up at their home, were they both so intoxicated that Jessica threw up and Chris was groaning while going in and out of consciousness? Take a look.
How do you guys feel, by the way, right now?
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel good right now.
From what?
Alcohol.
Throwing up. This is my life for the past 2 weeks. Every day. This is how he handles his withdrawals. We stop drinking and then we start drinking. It's not like we don't try to stop. We always try to stop, but it's not easy. That's what it is. Everything has gotten tremendously worse since my daughter was taken away. I wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30. I'm awake, let's take a shot. What is the point anymore? I don't have a point anymore. That's my story. I don't have my daughter anymore. Renee's taking care of her. Renee's making breakfast. Renee's doing everything. Renee. She's taken everything away from me. What else can she possibly take away from me? Now you decide to wake up? We're freaking awesome parents. I woke up, took my daughter to school. I did everything a good mother is supposed to do. Not because I'm supposed to, because I want to. That is a mother. That's my daughter. You might as well rip my heart out of my soul. You, Renee.
Chris, can you tell me what your goal is? Do you want to get your daughter back?
Yeah.
With Chris too intoxicated to be interviewed, our camera returned the following morning. Chris was up and had just returned from the store with another bottle of vodka.
What do you remember from last night?
Nothing. Please, tell me, what happened last night? I don't know. I didn't even know what day it was, to be completely honest. We We want our family back together. We drank a lot less when my daughter was here. We could absolutely be great parents. We are great parents, period. Like, it's not even a question.
Have you been drinking this morning?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it hit me.
Tell me what you're thinking.
I mean, he thinks he's a good parent like that. How do you get through, you know?
That's why I'm saying we have to up the game here.
We're ready.
All right, we're going to meet these great parents when we come back.
Since losing custody of their daughter, Chris and Jessica have not done anything to try to get her back.
We sat them down and explained that if they could get into a program, get a job, get settled into a nice environment for our granddaughter, we would have no problem returning her to their custody.
Chris and Jessica are on the verge of being homeless right now. I don't know what their plans are.
And in fact, Christopher has lost his job, so they have made no progress.
What's even worse about the whole situation is that their drinking is worse than it's ever been.
Taking that child, so and I'm not being critical of you now. I'm just saying we got to step up our game going forward. I mean, you get my point, right? Okay.
Thank you for taking the time.
All right. Well, Chris and Jessica have not been watching, but they are joining us now. How you doing, man? Have a seat. Have y'all been drinking this morning?
No. I had one earlier, but that's long since gone.
Yeah. Are you feeling the withdrawal effects?
Really bad.
You miss your daughter?
Of course.
How about you? Yeah. And right now, she is with your parents, correct?
Yes.
Everybody having a phone in their hand all the time. I'm sure you talk to her every day and FaceTime with her every day and tuck her in electronically at night every night?
They don't call us anymore.
Well, would you call her, right?
We did.
Did they call to talk to their daughter?
At first, yes. And then more and more over the past few weeks, the calls just stopped.
She's not getting called, so something else was more important than calling your daughter. What is it?
Drinking.
Drinking.
Okay. So drinking is more important than calling your daughter. Jessica, you said, and I quote, "No one had a reason or right to take our daughter away from us."
I don't know. Everything happened so abruptly.
Do you think that your daughter was taken from you inappropriately?
It was very sudden. You know, we didn't see it coming.
She was in a safe place.
I want you to see this through the eyes of a 6-year-old.
How do you guys feel, by the way, right now?
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah. She doesn't feel good right now.
From what?
Alcohol.
Throwing up. This is my life for the past 2 weeks. Every day. This is how he handles his withdrawals. We stop drinking and then we start drinking. It's not like we don't try to stop. We always try to stop, but it's not easy. That's what it is. Everything has gotten tremendously worse since my daughter was taken away. I wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30. I'm awake. Let's take a shot. What is the point anymore? I don't have a point anymore. That's my story.
That's what you want her to see?
No, I mean, that's really bad. That's when things got really bad. We weren't always like that.
And you just need her there, and that would fix it, right?
I just want to be with her. I just want her, because she's my motivation to get sober.
Okay, then let me ask you, what have you done to get better since she left?
I've tried.
What have you done?
I just wake up and she's not there, and it's just like, what's the point?
Okay, what have you done to get better?
You haven't done anything.
You say AA makes you drink more?
I try to go to AA, but I don't know. Sometimes when I go to those meetings, it actually makes me want to drink.
Well, Jessica's mother says she was an eyewitness to the aftermath on Easter and claims there are more incidents just like it. Take a look.
I was there when Chris got arrested on Easter. I got a call from Jessica. She was upset, crying, saying that I needed to come pick her up. I didn't know what was going on at that time. What I found out was they were kicked out of the movie theater for being intoxicated. A passerby saw this and blocked their car and called the police, so they couldn't drive off with my granddaughter in the car. When I got there, Jessica could hardly stand. Chris was slumped over the steering wheel like he was asleep. He couldn't hold his head up. He couldn't speak. My granddaughter kept telling me, Daddy's really tired. To see my granddaughter witness this, it was pretty upsetting for me. I know of at least one other time that Chris has driven while drunk with my granddaughter in the car. One time I happened to look out my bedroom window and I saw Chris pull up. He couldn't walk. He was stumbling because he was drunk. I could not understand anything Chris was saying, and my granddaughter was in the car with him. Chris never showed any remorse.
I've never had anybody show it to us like this before.
What gives you the right to get in a car and drive on the streets in a 5,000-pound missile so drunk you can't walk? What gives you the right to do that?
Nothing.
What gives you the right to do that? I'm on those streets. My grandchildren are on those streets. All of these people are on those streets. Your daughter is in the car. What gives you the right to put her life at risk?
Nothing. I don't have the right.
And you say that they don't have the right to take your child? Not only do they have the right to take your child, they have the responsibility to take your child because you're not protecting her. Chris's aunt says she's seen firsthand the danger her little niece has been placed in. We're going to meet her after the break.
When Chris and Jessica have been drinking, they become very physically abusive to each other.
I've seen black eyes, bruises on their arms, shoulders, legs, you name it. One time, I opened the door to tell them to please stop fighting. All of a sudden, I realized that Jessica was holding my granddaughter under the covers. It was like just a lump underneath the covers right here, and she was holding tight around her.
I immediately came in and I just took our granddaughter away. Several days after this incident, she asked me, Papa, why did Mommy punch Daddy in the face? Sorry, I can't help it. It just broke my heart.
Chris's Aunt Janet says she's seen firsthand how these incidences are certainly not isolated.
Chris and Jessica are not being honest about shielding their daughter from their alcohol abuse. She's right there seeing it. One night, Christopher, my stepson, my niece, and my grandson all decided to go to the bowling alley. About an hour later, I get a call from my stepson who said, could you please come get us? Chris is here. He's so drunk. When I got to the bowling alley, Chris was trashed. He was falling over, just completely not in control.
There's a bathroom upstairs, son. Come on. Come on.
It is very clear to me that alcohol is affecting Chris and Jessica's health. One time, Jessica went upstairs to take a bath. All of a sudden, I hear Christopher hollering, "Call 911." When I walk in the bathroom, Jessica was passed out in the bathtub. Chris was holding her up, her eyes rolling back in her head. Once the paramedics got there, I ran downstairs to be with Jessica's daughter and the kids. They were scared, they were crying. Jessica's daughter was terrified. She literally was asking me, "Is her mom coming back?" I was trying to comfort her, tell them it's gonna be okay, but in reality, I didn't know for sure. I was scared too.
Let's say that I just said, I think you should just let him take the little girl home, and she'll motivate him to do better. And y'all took her home. What do you think would happen?
I wouldn't drink, that's for sure.
So you would just miraculously become cured?
No.
How about you? What would happen?
I think that we would probably stop for a while, and it would come back. It always comes back.
But you're in withdrawal now. I mean, you're within an hour of getting sick, really sick, right? I mean, you're already on the way. You feel like you got the worst flu ever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're having tremors, you're shaking here, you're not feeling well. So you're going to drink just enough to take the edge off, right? But then once you do that, it washes away your inhibitions, and then so you take another, and then that's the pattern, right?
Yeah.
You get her home. It's 3 a.m. She wakes up burning up with fever. Mm-hmm. "Daddy, I don't feel good." And what she gets is one of those, "Ah!" So we're in the middle of the night emergency, and you are physically, mentally, and emotionally incapacitated. Temperature goes to 104, 105. She now seizes. She has brain damage. You willing to take that risk with her life?
No.
We'll be right back.
Chris and Jessica are hugely codependent. They're joined at the hip.
It amazes me that Chris and Jessica can't seem to do anything without the other present.
They'll be trying to stay off of alcohol and literally talk each other into drinking.
Chris is the culprit because he's the one who has the money. He's the one who drives the car.
In 2015, they both went to rehab separately. Christopher went the first month, and then Jessica went the next month after that. Christopher was sober for 3 whole months.
He was the best dad you would ever see. He was very attentive to his daughter, fed her every night, got her to school, and he would actually help her with her homework.
As soon as Jessica got out of rehab, they were going to go on a drinking binge. We went in and searched the room and found the alcohol and dumped it out. Jessica looked straight at me and yelled, "What do you expect? I'm an alcoholic." Chris and Jessica are each other's worst enemy.
This is Dr. Charles Sophie down here. Dr. Charles Sophie is board certified in 3 clinical specialties: adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, family practice. He's also the medical director for the Department of Child and Family Services here in Los Angeles, which, by the way, is the largest such agency in the entire United States. What would be the exposure they would have, knowing what they know, if they turn this child back over to these two?
Well, I mean, already knowing what you know and you waited is an issue. And then if you were blinded enough to give her back, the 4 of you would never see that kid again.
I keep saying I'm commonsensical. So I look at this in terms of like a resume. Like if they were going to adopt a child, for example. Well, we would look and see, okay, Chris and Jessica's parenting resume. Well, address, they're about to be homeless. Prior employment, Chris has been fired for alcohol use and missing weeks of work. They're both currently unemployed. Skills, well, they lost the guardianship of their only child, admitted alcoholics, failed at rehab, they admit abuse and consumption while caring for a child. He's urinated on herself at an Easter egg hunt in front of the daughter, arrested at Easter, trying to drive intoxicated, history of driving with a child in the car, DUI conviction, total 2 cars, history of physical abuse with each other in front of the child, history of black pass-out drunks, history of neglect, history of police call due to drunk disturbances, the daughter in the house, alcohol-induced seizure in front. That would be the resume. Where would that fall in the stack? It would be pretty low. Your mother says she comes in the apartment, a potty chair isn't even emptied. It's just packed full of dirty diapers all over the floor around.
I don't recall that. I apologize.
Well, of course you don't. You weren't there. You were drunk. Unfortunately, your daughter is stone cold sober.
Yeah.
She's there for all of it.
I don't really know what to say. I mean, sorry, you know.
On the surface, our granddaughter seems perfectly fine. But I know what Chris and Jessica have done has affected her, and I know it's still affecting her.
There are times when my granddaughter is sad and doesn't understand what's going on with her mommy and daddy.
We have her going to a pediatric therapist right now. Chris and Jessica are very unhappy about that.
Recently, my granddaughter asked if we could go get a snack. And I said, sure, what do you want? And she says, well, we'll go to the liquor store and find something. I find it unbelievable that my granddaughter relates treats to something so negative. Chris and Jessica don't seem to realize what they're doing to their own daughter.
Now, in 11 days, your temporary guardianship expires. What do y'all want to see happen?
We're gonna have to reinstate it until we can get ourselves better.
What do you think?
I feel the same. I have to fix myself before I can take her.
They brought with them the extension through the end of the school year, correct?
There's a line where you either put a date or that certain expectations are met. And I would have to put in the certain expectation clause here. I'd want you guys to prove that you can keep her safe. That's what we're looking for. We want to see a successful rehabilitation. You should really want it for her.
So, at least time-wise, you're willing to extend this, correct? And I ask you that because I need to know before you leave here today that this has been extended or not. You cannot extend it, or you can extend it, and based on which you decide to do, that informs what I need to do. And here's my plan. If you're willing to sign to extend this at least through the end of the school year, then I'm not going to report this to Dr. Charles Sophie, who's sitting down here, which if I do, then there's going to be a mobile team is going to show up, and they're going to take this child and put her into foster care. Because there is no way in hell I can, in good conscience, as a mandated reporter, allow the risk of this child being returned to you in 11 days. That's not going to happen on my watch. I can't let that happen. If you're willing to extend it, then I don't have to do that, and I don't want to put this child in foster care. I want her to stay with these people. And then I want the two of you to do something for me. I want to arrange for both of you to have independent therapists back home for you to see on whatever schedule they determine is appropriate. And that's probably going to be at least twice a week, to start working you towards sobriety. And if each of you will keep those appointments as set up every day for a month, then I will arrange for each of you to go to a top-level dual diagnosis treatment program. You may be drunk together now, but you're going to get sober separately. Okay? So if you're willing to extend this, then I'm willing to provide those therapists. No cost to you, that's on us. And then when you do, then I'll make arrangements for you to go to a dual diagnosis treatment program for both of you, and they will be involved with Origins Healthcare. So are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Are you willing to extend this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You can sign that right there. Sign right there, and she can sign right there. We'll have a notary backstage to authenticate that, and you can work out the conditions when you get back there. Thank you. All right, I want to thank my guests today. Special thanks to Dr. Charles Sophie for being here today and weighing in on this. And special thanks to Origins Behavioral Health Care. I really hope Origins comes into play here and springs into action and helps these two. I'm going to handpick these therapists, and they're going to be relentless in helping these people move forward. We'll see you next time.
Memories can kill ya, but I didn't hear ya. I thought that I could fly, but woke up on the asphalt. I swear there was the last time. I've always been naive. Call it. You surround